Chosen one, the very fact that you're watching this right now means the rewriting has already begun. Don't look away. This moment was orchestrated by heaven itself. You didn't stumble across this message. You were led here because tonight, God is turning the page on every chapter of pain you've carried. What question has been haunting your spirit in the quiet hours when sleep won't come? The answer isn't just coming, it's here, and if you miss this divine interruption, you'll keep circling the same mountain for months. This isn't content you consume and forget. This is a prophetic appointment between your soul and the plans heaven has been holding in reserve for you. You are not here by accident. What's ahead in this message will shatter the lie that your pain was pointless. But first, every tear you've cried has been collecting in heaven's bottle. And tonight, they're being poured out as liquid purpose over your destiny. Right now, breakthrough isn't just possible, it's inevitable. By the end of this word, you'll understand exactly why every door had to close, every betrayal had to happen, and every dream had to die before this moment. The rewriting isn't gentle, it's surgical. It cuts away everything that was never meant to stay, so the real you can finally emerge. This isn't motivation talking. This is the voice of the one who calls things that are not as though they already are. Hit the like button to declare, I'm ready to receive this divine message. It takes just a second, but help spread this word to thousands of other chosen ones who need it right now. Comment 777 if you're declaring today as the day you step into divine abundance, favor, and breakthrough. What's on your heart today? Leave your prayer request in the comments and then take a moment to lift someone else up with words of encouragement. When you share your prayer, others will intercede for you. When you pray for someone else, God moves in ways you never imagined. And to all our channel members, thank you for your continued support and faith. May God return it to you in peace, provision, and divine favor. If you're still with me right now, truly, it's not by chance or a random scroll that brought you to this very space, this very moment. No, my friend, it's because deep down, in that quiet, honest, and utterly undeniable part of you, your spirit is recognizing something profound. It's a whisper, a resonance, a stirring in the deepest chambers of your soul that recognizes the sheer weight, the sacred significance of this very instant, this convergence of divine timing and your deepest longing. It's as if a hidden compass within your being, long dormant or obscured, has suddenly spun to point directly north, towards a truth you were always meant to grasp. And if you're like so many of us who have walked this winding path of life, through valleys and over jagged peaks, through sun-drenched meadows and bewildering storms, you've probably always carried this quiet knowing inside, this almost instinctual sense that you weren't put on this earth just to survive the same old cycles, to simply endure. You weren't meant to just get by, to merely exist, to keep reliving the same patterns of disappointment that cling like a damp, suffocating cloak, heavy and cold against your skin. You weren't created to perpetually wade through the same relentless struggle that feels like trudging through thick, bottomless mud, each step an exhausting battle against an unseen force, or to perpetually listen to the self-doubt that whispers insidious lies in the quiet hours, twisting your perception of who you are and what you're capable of. No, your deepest longing, that truest, most authentic calling, etched into the very fabric of your being, into the blueprint of your soul, has always been to utterly break those cycles, to step decisively out of that exhausting loop, to shatter the glass ceiling that others, or even your own past, tried to place above you, limiting your vision and confining your spirit. You were always destined for more, for newness, for a vibrant, abundant life that reflects the very heart of the one who created you, a life brimming with purpose, overflowing with joy, and radiating his glory. This isn't just wishful thinking, it's a deep, spiritual truth embedded within you. Tonight, what we're talking about, what we're leaning into with every fiber of our being, is exactly that deep-seated desire. That silent, often unspoken question that echoes in the hidden chambers of your heart, the one that wonders with a raw vulnerability that leaves you feeling exposed yet desperate for an answer. Will things ever truly fundamentally change for me? Or am I forever bound to this familiar ache? Or is there genuinely more to my story than this repetitive narrative I've been living, this well-worn script that seems to dictate my every step? That question, that desperate, hopeful plea, is being met with a direct, resounding, and unequivocal answer from heaven itself. You see, the ache you felt, that gnawing, persistent pain that has settled deep within your bones, a constant companion that whispered of unfulfilled hopes, the frustrating delays that felt like cruel jokes played by a mocking universe, the doors that slammed shut with a deafening finality right when you needed them to burst open, when you were desperate, truly desperate, for a way forward. It felt cruel, didn't it? It felt profoundly unfair, even utterly random, as if life was just throwing darts at you blindly with no rhyme or reason, no larger purpose, leaving you bruised and bewildered. But here's the truth, and I want you to really, deeply, truly let this sink into the very core of your being, beyond the logical mind and into the receptive, understanding spirit. Nothing, absolutely nothing that has shaped you, formed you, or even seemingly broken you was ever wasted. Every tear you shed, each one a tiny drop of sorrow falling from your eyes onto the earth, every setback that knocked the wind out of you, leaving you gasping for breath on the cold ground, every confusing detour that left you bewildered in the wilderness of uncertainty, wondering if you'd ever find your way home, was a part of a much larger, more intricate and deeply loving design. There are specific, sacred pages of your story that God would never, ever hand to anyone else to write or to live. They belong uniquely to you, inscribed with your name, designed for your specific journey, a path meticulously laid out by the master weaver of all creation. You are here right now, not despite the pain, not as a casualty of your past, but precisely because the pain itself has been meticulously preparing you, lovingly refining you, divinely equipping you for a weight of glory, a kind of breakthrough and purpose, a depth of impact that no comfortable, easy, or untroubled path could have ever possibly prepared you for. It's like the diamond, formed under immense, unimaginable pressure in the Earth's deep heart. It's the pressure, the intense heat, the crushing weight that doesn't destroy it, but rather gives it its unparalleled brilliance, its breathtaking strength, its eternal sparkle. Your past has been the crucible, forging something magnificent within you, hardening your resolve and illuminating your true worth. Let's be really honest with each other in this sacred space we're sharing, and name one of the biggest, most insidious fears that might be quietly holding you back, gripping your heart in its icy embrace, a fear so subtle you might not even consciously acknowledge it. It's that nagging worry, that deep-seated, almost shameful fear that if you truly surrender control, if you genuinely let go of the reins you've clutched so tightly, so desperately for so long, believing you had to steer every outcome, if you finally give it all, every single fragment of it, every desire, every hope, every fear, every fractured piece to God, all you'll be left with is that same raw ache, that familiar, suffocating disappointment you've tried so desperately, so valiantly to outrun. There's a hidden hesitation, isn't there, even in your most earnest, heartfelt prayers? A quiet, almost shameful wondering if letting go, if truly surrendering your desires and your outcomes, just means you're signing up for more disappointment, more disheartening letdowns, more of those hopes that glittered so brightly, like fragile glass ornaments on a tree, only to be dashed to pieces on the hard ground, leaving behind nothing but sharp fragments. You might worry that God's plan for you is just to suffer, to endure hardship for the sake of it, as if He delights in your pain, or that His answer to your deepest, most vulnerable plea will be a gentle, quiet no, that leaves you feeling utterly empty, unseen, and unheard, as if your voice doesn't matter to the Creator of the universe. But I want you to know tonight, in this powerful, spirit-filled moment, that even that uncertainty, that subtle, almost imperceptible doubt about what true surrender truly means, is being rewritten. The ink on that old narrative, that script of fear and disappointment, is drying, fading away, and a new story is unfolding. A story of unexpected grace, profound peace, and divine intervention. Think about Joseph. We all know his epic redemptive story, right? Imagine him on that cold, unforgiving stone floor of a prison cell, the air thick with despair, the silence amplifying his hopelessness, the days stretching into endless, hopeless years, each sunrise a cruel reminder of his captivity. He was betrayed by his own brothers, the very blood of his family, cast into a desolate pit as if he were refuse, then sold into dehumanizing slavery in a foreign land, stripped of his identity and his freedom. He rose in Potiphar's household, a testament to his character and God's favor, only to be falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, his character slandered, his reputation tarnished beyond repair, and finally, cruelly, left to rot in a dark, forgotten dungeon for what must have felt like an eternity. A lifetime of suffering unfolding in the shadows. His grand dreams, those vivid, audacious visions God had given him in his youth, of sheaves bowing down and stars prostrating themselves before him, seemed utterly lost, completely shattered beyond repair, like fragile pottery thrown against a wall, breaking into 1,000 irreparable shards. From a purely human perspective, looking at his circumstances, it looked like total failure, utter ruin, a life derailed beyond any hope of recovery, a tragic narrative with no possible happy ending. You might think God was up in heaven pacing, wringing his hands, consumed with worry, wondering what went wrong with his chosen one, his plans seemingly thwarted by human treachery and injustice. But the Bible tells us a radically different story. God wasn't pacing, he wasn't surprised, he was never taken off guard. He was meticulously orchestrating. He was precisely, lovingly, strategically working everything together, not just the palace, but the pit and the palace. Both experiences, the lowest, most humiliating lows, where he was forgotten and forsaken, and the highest, most influential highs, where he ruled with wisdom and authority, were not only necessary for his formation, for the shaping of his character and the honing of his gifts, but absolutely sacred. They were part of a divine sequence, a master plan unfolding with perfect timing, each piece fitting seamlessly into the grand design. What often looks to us like devastating loss, tragic detours, or absolute setbacks is actually heaven's brilliant, merciful strategy. It's God's profound, loving way of stripping away every counterfeit pillar in our lives, every false security we've relied on, every wrong identity we've adopted that was never truly ours, every way we've tried to control things or find comfort and validation outside of Him, until all that remains is pure truth, undeniable truth, unshakable truth. The kind of truth that sets you truly free, not just from external chains, but from internal bondage, from the prisons of your own mind and the lies you've believed, and anchors you deeply, firmly, when everything else around you is shaking violently, when the very foundations of your world seem to tremble. As Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." And this, right here, right now, as you're listening to this voice, as these words penetrate your spirit, settling deep within your innermost being, this is that very moment for you. This is your pit to palace transition. This is the divine turning point where the long, dark night with its shadows and anxieties begins to break into a glorious dawn, ushering in a new day filled with hope, promise, and the radiant light of God's presence. The weight you've carried is lifting. You know, some of the most profound and game-changing breakthroughs we experience in life don't come when we're frantically searching for answers. desperately trying to figure everything out on our own, poring over countless books in a relentless pursuit of knowledge, endlessly strategizing and planning every possible scenario, or engaging in exhausting self-help pursuits that leave us feeling more depleted than empowered. Sometimes the greatest, most miraculous breakthroughs arrive when we stop the frantic search altogether and instead start simply sitting with revelation. What's the difference between the two? Searching is often human effort, a tireless striving, like digging endlessly in the dirt with a small shovel, hoping to unearth something precious, something that will finally give you the answers you seek. Sitting with revelation, on the other hand, is like opening your hands in quiet expectation, with a posture of humble receptivity, and allowing God to gently, lovingly place a divine truth, a fresh perspective, a sudden burst of understanding directly into your spirit. It's a quiet knowing that suddenly miraculously clicks into place within your heart, illuminating what was once obscure, like a sudden flash of lightning, revealing a hidden path. It's not about stumbling in the dark, trying to find the light switch, groping blindly for illumination. It's about pausing in the darkness, releasing your grip on the need to control, and realizing the sun just rose, unbidden and glorious, bathing everything in its undeniable transformative light. This is an invitation to receive, not to strive. If that resonates with you, if you feel that stirring, that profound recognition in your spirit, that sense of an inner yes reverberating through your being, then I want to tell you about what I believe is your very next step. A practical act of faith that can unlock so much more than you can imagine. It's an ebook called The 10 Hidden Truths of Jesus Parables. We created it specifically for this kind of pivotal moment, for souls hungry for deeper truth, for those who yearn to move beyond surface-level understanding into the rich, life-altering wisdom of God's Word. It's short, yes, concise and to the point, designed to be digestible and impactful, but incredibly powerful because it doesn't just offer abstract concepts or theological complexities. It unpacks practical, spirit-led truths that Jesus himself taught, truths that directly impact the most vital, foundational areas of your life, like money, healing, and achieving real, unshakable emotional clarity. Imagine truly understanding the deepest principles behind financial freedom, not just from a budgeting or worldly investment perspective that often feels like a hamster wheel of lack, but from a profound kingdom perspective that redefines your relationship with abundance and provision, revealing God as your ultimate source, or unlocking pathways to holistic healing that go far beyond the physical body, touching your soul, your mind, and your spirit, bringing restoration to every fractured part of your being, or finding a clarity in your emotions, a sense of inner peace that cuts through years, even decades, of confusion, anxiety, or internal noise, like a sharp sword dividing truth from lies, bringing order to chaos. This isn't just head knowledge, a collection of facts to accumulate. It's heart knowledge that transforms you from the inside out, knowledge that breathes life into dry bones, bringing them to life with vibrant purpose, knowledge that empowers you to walk in new freedom, unburdened by past limitations. We've poured so much prayer, so much revelation, so much heartfelt dedication into making it accessible, understandable, and truly life-changing for you. The link to get your copy, to claim this key to deeper understanding and unlock these truths for yourself, is in the very first comment below this video. Please, my beloved friend, don't wait on this. This is not a casual suggestion, a mere recommendation among many. It is a divine invitation, a timely offering from the heart of God to yours. It's only available for a limited time, so if you feel that pull, that distinct nudge, that inner prompting, grab it now. Seize this precious opportunity for profound transformation. Now, let's talk about those old scripts. You know the ones. They're like broken records playing on a continuous tormenting loop in the background of your mind. A static-filled broadcast of limitation, whispering constant accusations and dire predictions. Those persistent nagging whispers that tell you things like, your story can't really change. You're always going to be stuck here, confined to this small, limited existence, like a bird in a cage with the door open but too afraid to fly. You're forever bound by the same patterns you inherited from your family, those generational struggles that feel like chains around your ankles, that way of thinking that feels like a prison, constructed brick by the past. That betrayal you experienced, that deep wound inflicted by someone you trusted, it defined your ceiling, it etched a permanent boundary around your potential. It put an absolute limit on how far you could ever truly go, how much you could ever genuinely achieve, how deeply, truly, unconditionally you could ever be loved. These scripts are powerful, aren't they? They've burrowed deep, like insidious roots, shaping your perceptions, influencing your very beliefs, perhaps even dictating your choices and preventing you from stepping into your true identity, the magnificent person God created you to be. But I'm here to tell you, with absolute conviction, with every fiber of my being, with the full authority of the Spirit flowing through these words, that today, right now, in this very instant, God is actively severing those agreements. He's cutting those ties that have bound you to a past that no longer serves His purpose for you. He's breaking those old, destructive contracts you unknowingly signed or that were forced upon you by circumstances or the careless, often cruel, words of others. It might feel uncomfortable, this dismantling of the familiar. In fact, I urge you, lean into that discomfort. Embrace it. That unfamiliar ground that you suddenly find yourself standing on after the chains have fallen away and the walls have crumbled. It might feel shaky, uncertain, disorienting, like the world has shifted beneath your feet, leaving you unbalanced and vulnerable. But I assure you, it is holy ground. It's where God is meeting you in a new, unprecedented way, where His presence is palpable and His power is actively at work, rebuilding and restoring. And here's the kicker, the astounding, liberating truth that will shatter every remaining lie, the very thing you thought disqualified you, the very weakness you tried to hide in shame, the past mistake that has haunted you like a relentless ghost, the label someone else maliciously put on you, the trauma you endured and thought would define you forever. That very thing in the hands of God is about to become your greatest credential, your most powerful testimony, your unique anointing, a testament to His redemptive power that will impact countless lives, revealing His glory through your story. Think about Hannah from the Bible. Her story is so raw, so utterly human, so incredibly relatable in its pain and its triumph, a testament to the power of desperate prayer. Year after year, she endured the profound heartache of barrenness, the deepest longing of a woman's heart left unfulfilled, a silent agony that gnawed at her soul, while her rival, Peninnah, had children and cruelly mocked her constantly, adding salt to her gaping wound, twisting the knife of her pain with every taunt. 1 Samuel 1. Imagine that relentless pain, that deep, unyielding longing that felt like a constant ache in her spirit, that public shame that weighed her down like a physical burden, making every communal gathering a torment. She wasn't living in comfort, pretending everything was fine with a forced smile. She wasn't ignoring her pain or trying to positive vibe her way out of it with superficial affirmations that felt hollow in her despair. She was desperate, utterly desperate, stripped bare of all pretense with nothing left to lose but her grief. And what did she do in that overwhelming despair? She poured out her very soul in raw, gut-wrenching, agonizing prayer at the altar in the temple. She wept before God until she had nothing left, until her emotional and spiritual reserves were utterly depleted, until her voice was hoarse and her body racked with sobs, a living embodiment of sorrow. Breakthrough wasn't born in her comfort zone or in her ability to handle it with stoic resilience or in her intellectual understanding of God's timing. It was birthed directly from her raw desperation, from the very depths of her need, as she laid it all bare, every fear, every hurt, every longing, every shattered dream, before God. And God heard her. He saw her tears, He felt her pain, and He responded with profound grace. He transformed her barrenness into abundant motherhood, making her the mother of Samuel, one of Israel's greatest prophets, a man dedicated to God from birth, a powerful leader who guided his nation. Your desperation, that place where you feel you can't go on, that dark night of the soul, can be the very fertile soil from which your most profound breakthrough springs forth, a testament to God's power when we are at our weakest, when we have nowhere else to turn but to Him. So please, I beg you with all my heart, don't retreat when you feel the unfamiliar start to rise within you, when the old boundaries begin to crumble and new sensations emerge, feelings you don't yet have names for. Don't pull back when things feel weird, uncomfortable, or just plain new and disorienting, like walking on shifting sands. That feeling, that sense of internal shift or external uncertainty, like walking on ground that no longer feels solid beneath your feet, as if the very laws of gravity have changed, that's not a sign to run away, to shrink back into the familiar confines of your past, no matter how painful that familiarity was. That's actually proof, undeniable, palpable evidence that old cycles are dying, that old patterns are dissolving, that the very fabric of your old reality is being rewoven, stitch by sacred stitch, into something new and glorious. It's like the cracking of a shell as a new creature emerges, vulnerable yet destined for flight, or the shedding of old skin that no longer serves you, revealing fresh, vibrant life beneath. This isn't about simply returning to normal, whatever that even means anymore in this new season of your life. This night, this very moment, is about emergence. It's about you stepping boldly, confidently, into a new version of yourself, a new chapter of your life, a new dimension of your purpose, a realm of possibility that you couldn't have even imagined before, a reality far grander than your wildest dreams. Think about Abram, who later became Abraham, the father of many nations. God told him to leave his familiar land, his beloved family, his security, everything he knew and clung to for comfort, and go to a place God would show him. He had no map, no detailed itinerary, no clue where he was going. He didn't know what lay ahead, just that God was sending him and that God was faithful. He had to trust that what lay ahead, though unseen, would somehow redeem every unanswered question, every uncertainty, every step of blind faith into the unknown. In this very hour, God is teaching your spirit something profound, something deeply liberating. He's teaching you to trust Him with empty hands, to let go of your desperate need to control, to map everything out, to cling to old certainties that no longer serve His divine purpose, even if those certainties felt like your only anchors. He's teaching you to see those closed doors, those frustrating no's, not as divine denials, not as God withholding good from you, but as divine detours. These are strategic redirections onto a path that is ultimately better, profoundly safer, and far more aligned with His perfect, loving will for your life, leading you to a destination of boundless blessing you could not have otherwise reached. It's His tender guiding way of saying, "Not this way, my beloved child, for this path leads to limitation, to pain, to a life far less than I have for you. But this way, for this path leads to boundless freedom and abundance, to the very destiny I crafted uniquely for you. I need you to stay with this word. Don't click away. Don't let your mind wander to the distractions of the day. Don't look away when emotion rises within you, whether it's a tremor of fear that rattles your bones, a wave of doubt that threatens to engulf you, a surge of excitement that makes your heart pound, or even the cleansing balm of tears that flow freely and unexpectedly. And definitely don't let the enemy or your old self or the voices of your past convince you it's easier to just numb out, scroll away, or tell yourself you'll come back later, that this moment isn't as urgent as it feels. That urge to run, that sudden desire to escape the intensity, the raw vulnerability of this moment, that's actually the boundary of your old self, your comfort zone, fighting for its survival, a desperate attempt to cling to what is known, even if it's painful. It's like an old programming trying to keep you stuck in what's familiar, even if familiar is profoundly painful and deeply limiting. But simultaneously, at the very same moment, your spirit, that deeper, truer part of you, intimately connected to God Himself, infused with His divine essence, is stretching, it's reaching, yearning for a new name, a fresh authority, a renewed sense of purpose and power that is rightfully, divinely yours, waiting for you to step into it and claim it. Every no you endured, every door that closed with a resounding thud, every rejection you felt, every moment you felt dismissed or unwanted, it wasn't a sign that you weren't good enough, or that you weren't chosen, or that you weren't worthy of love and blessing. It wasn't rejection at all. It was actually redirection. It was God carefully, meticulously, sometimes through painful means, that brought you to your knees, guiding you, shielding you into a specific path, a unique journey, a divinely appointed trajectory that only your unique anointing, your God-given gifts and purpose could truly survive and truly thrive in. It was setting you up, piece by painful piece, tear by cleansing tear, for your specific glorious destiny, a destiny that required every lesson, every experience, every tear to prepare you for it. Tonight, before you close your eyes, before you drift off to sleep and rest your weary head, I want you to truly, deeply take this profound truth with you, allowing it to penetrate every fiber of your being. The pain you've experienced didn't poison your future. It didn't ruin you. In fact, quite the opposite. Your pain preserved it. It protected you from paths that weren't meant for you. It purified you of all that was not truly of God, burning away the dross, and it profoundly prepared you for the magnificent calling that awaits. You are walking into days, into seasons, into a future that will make profound, breathtaking sense of every midnight hour you thought would utterly destroy you. Every tear you wept, every struggle you wrestled with, every moment of raw despair, you will look back with the clarity of hindsight and see the golden thread of God's absolute faithfulness weaving through it all, setting you up for this very moment, for this breakthrough, for this grand unveiling of His purpose for your life. I want you to declare it aloud. Speak it over your life right now, with all the conviction, all the passion, all the belief you can possibly muster, letting the words resonate in your heart and fill your space, reverberating through every cell of your body. And if you need to, if your spirit compels you, write it in the comments below. Declare it for the world to see, for the enemy to hear, for heaven to affirm. I step out of old labels and into God's rewrite for my life. Let that be your anthem tonight. A powerful, defiant declaration of faith and freedom, a banner waving in the wind. And now, with that declaration fresh on your lips and burning in your heart, I invite you to do something incredibly powerful, something that unlocks even deeper grace, a spiritual principle that transcends logic. Bring your deepest need, your most urgent prayer, your highest expectation directly before God. No mask. No pretense, no need to perform or pretend you've got it all together, because He sees your heart anyway. He knows every secret longing and every hidden fear. Just bring a raw, honest cry of faith, a vulnerable heart laid bare. Speak what's truly on your heart, freely and openly, without holding anything back, like a child speaking to a loving parent. And as you do that, here's a spiritual principle that is absolutely life-changing, a divine secret that unlocks torrents of blessing, a truth found in the very heart of Christ. As you pray for someone else, maybe a friend who is struggling and can't see their way clear, a family member who needs a breakthrough and doesn't know how to ask, or even a stranger who came to mind in this moment, a gentle whisper from the Spirit. Truly, unequivocally believe that what you are making happen for another God is actively, supernaturally making happen in you. When you intercede, when you sow into someone else's breakthrough, when you pour out your heart for their freedom and their blessing, you are not only aligning with God's compassionate heart, echoing His love for humanity, but you are also opening a floodgate of grace and blessing for your own life, your own breakthrough. Don't just watch this video and let it be another fleeting message in a sea of content, a momentary flicker of inspiration. Respond to it. Receive what God is offering you in this very moment. Release what you've been holding on to that is hindering your breakthrough. Let this truly be the night you remember as the turning point in your journey, the sacred moment when heaven called you chosen, beloved, and for the first time, you truly, deeply, unequivocally believed it, feeling it to the very core of your being. If any of this spoke directly to your heart, if you felt that deep, undeniable resonance in your spirit, if it stirred something profound within you, please don't keep it to yourself. Don't let this transformative message stop with you, like a precious seed that falls on barren ground. Share this video with someone you know, someone who is desperately searching for a sign, who needs to know that breakthrough is not only possible, but it is standing right at their door, knocking with the force of heaven behind it, waiting to be received. Let's make this more than just a message. Let's make it a movement. Let's spread hope and breakthrough far and wide, touching lives and igniting transformation across the globe, one heart at a time.